Istanbul Urban Research report about the city exploration from 21st of November 2020. The recording is being made on 23rd of November. 2 days later, it's 1 o'clock 47 minutes after midnight, so it's 23rd today. It's night from 22nd to 23rd of November. This might not be the most ready and most fresh report, but I guess it's as good time or as good opportunity as any other due to the informal nature of all those reports, and because also I never have time for making them, so I just not woke up, but I little bit woke up because I was falling asleep, but not really succeeding in falling asleep, and thought, well, what the hell, maybe this is also as good time as any other to make the report now, because otherwise there is never enough time during the daytime, because always I'm busy doing something else. But I think that these reports are important, and I'm always I think later on I was regretting I was not making them in the previous projects in East by Northeast, if I remember correctly. But yes, it's a big question, what are these good for? But maybe if I think I got this idea, maybe I will do exhibition from this material, so if so, then this is important, that I have as much material as possible, and this I guess is also could be useful. Yeah. So in this walk or in this exploration 2 days ago on Saturday 21st, I wanted to explore the west part of the city, the southwest on the European side, so areas such as Bakırköy and further towards the west in direction to Avcılar. And usually it would be possible to travel to Bakırköy port directly from Kadıköy as well as from Eminönü. So this I didn't know, but I found out during my visit, and that it seems to be quite frequented, relatively busy port, still almost in the center, not quite the center I would say, but just beyond the center is my interpretation. And I still did not translate the sign in Turkish I found in the port, but there was some information that the station is closed from spring already because of the coronavirus. So because I could not arrive to the port by a ferry, I decided to make like a substitute ride or exploration. So I went by walking. At first, symbolically, I used ferry again to transfer myself from Kadıköy to Eminönü. From there, I crossed the, if we may call it this way, the Fatih Peninsula, or the peninsula where there is the Haliç on the north and the Marmara Sea in the south. So I knew that I will be walking quite a long distance, and I thought maybe I make a shortcut here instead of walking around alongside the seaside, but otherwise my aim was to walk on a seashore. But for the first segment I made a shortcut and went through the tourist center or the tourist area of Eminönü, through streets where the sellers were offering a lot of clothes, and then even through the Grand Bazaar by a coincidence, but I guess it really is big. You cannot avoid it so easily if you want to take the same route as I did. So maybe just some quick notes about the bazaar. Like, they will check you the temperature, obviously, and at the entrance. So this is what marks the beginning at the end, because there are also some blind alleys, it seems like, in the bazaar. I went to one at least, and it was an open courtyard, but then I had to return again. So if there is a scanning gate and the person guard measuring the temperature, it means this is the real entrance or exit. And then I noticed there is a sign, no smoking inside of the bazaar, but it doesn't prevent the people from smoking there, especially the people who are there longer time, the ones who are selling their goods. So it's a small sad, or I don't know if sad, but paradox for sure. The people who has to stay inside in this environment are the ones who are actually polluting. So it's nicer actually to breathe. It's much nicer to be outside of the bazaar. Otherwise, it's magnificent, really exciting and unique place. So just for my tourist desires, I have to revisit, or any other desires. I'm sure there has been many projects done around the topic of Grand Bazaar, and this is not the project, but yes, it is truly fascinating. Well, then I passed through this area, and I went to the other side of this central location of the old city, and it was really quite interesting because this was the other side, the side where you would not usually go, where there is no direct connection with the ferry line. Nowadays, not even, for example, to the Bakırköy, which is a little bit further away. Maybe before there was a connection to Yenikapı, which is where this is this other side. But I think it's not just some recent closure of ferry lines which makes this other side looks as it does. I think that this is where not so many tourists go, because there are no interesting sites, I think, and this is probably why also the transportation is more limited there. So it's like this, not vice versa. And then, yes, this area I know very little, even though it's like very central, probably. This is what you should go first as a tourist. So maybe that's also a reason I'm avoiding it, but I guess I should explore more, just so, I mean, it's also part of the city, so by not visiting there, I'm also avoiding to getting to know some important part of the city. And anyway, so I little bit expected it that it will not look so fancy, and it didn't indeed. So it was more poor area, Yes, poor looking, old, dilapidating houses. And significantly higher concentration of black people, African people, and also there were different confirmations of this higher concentration of black people, not just by them being on the streets more, not so much, but more, but also because of different shops and cargoes and flags of different African countries and possibilities to transfer money or goods and so on. Yes, then there was also, I think it was probably the Marmaray line, or maybe even the actual train line, because I was somewhere near the train station. I believe the main European train station, Sirkeci, which is nevertheless nowadays closed. So probably this is maybe even more likely that this is also not any new line. It looked like it's been there for a while, the wall surrounding the rail and cutting off or ending this poor neighborhood, which I don't know now exactly its name, because not looking at the map. But yes, I think that one of the problems of this neighborhood is, I'm guessing, its peripherality, despite being pretty central. So a little bit paradoxical, but yes. So it's like again on this other side, and then it's cut off even from the seaside by the wall, and behind this wall is the rail. So that's why there is a wall. So basically, it's divided by the railway, not by the wall itself. It's just a consequence. Well, but anyway, after looking through these, and maybe here a small note, that one feels more comfortable when you have actually a wall on your side. When walking somewhere where maybe the visitors are not that much appreciated, because people maybe are not interested in tourists with photo cameras photographing, or just, looking around how in what conditions do they live, like, so, because then I can imagine, this is total guess, maybe they don't mind at all, but if I am there, maybe in this position, I'm thinking that it's some sort of exoticizing, everything can be captured on a camera, including people's lives, so then they are like animals in a zoo, and there are some sites which are designed in this way to be photographed. But to take a photograph, it really is this stealing of a soul. I think you will have it then forever. So it is not a small thing to take someone's photograph. Well, moving on. After leaving this neighborhood, which would for sure be interesting to explore more, but my mission was elsewhere, so I continued to the Yenikapı station. I discovered the sign directing me towards the ferry port. I knew that it is possible to go to this port with some big ferries crossing the Marmaray Sea. For example, there is some line Kadıköy, Bostancı Kadıköy, Yenikapı, Bursa, or so definitely from Kadıköy. So there is a direct connection between Kadıköy and Yenikapı, but it cost around 40 to 50 lira, so let's say 10 times more than it should probably cost. Because it's already a price for the long distance boat. It doesn't make sense to travel it actually within the city limits. Maybe I will try anyway, but yes, it makes only very little sense given the price and given the frequency that it goes like once per day or something. Yeah, maybe I should take it because it's so bizarre. Otherwise, I've discovered the station. It's a little bit deserted. Well, it's winter and it's COVID times, so no surprise. Otherwise, from outside, doesn't look very nice. I would say modern, cheap construction, my opinion. Inside, kind of cozy and okay, like nothing special, but few small shops, waiting rooms. Yeah, it could get maybe a bit busy, I think. I think they might be ready to like get out quite a few boats running during the daytime. Not that much, but looked like quite nice middle-size port or whatever. The surrounding not so interesting, just next to the road. And then this confusing old neighborhood, but I don't know. I couldn't really grasp it that well because I was just basically walking around. I did not have very good understanding of the context. So, but I visited Yenikapı. This was my starting point, basically. So, this is where I wanted to go, or to Bakırköy, or to Avcılar, or to Büyükçekmece. So I started with, okay, I will go again as far as possible. I will go because I knew that there are ferries coming to this Büyükçekmece, which is already quite far, pretty far, I don't know, 20 kilometers or more towards the west. And then I couldn't find it from the center, the ferry connection there. So I thought, okay, I go to Avcılar. There is some other way how to get to Avcılar, which is a little bit more closer to the city. But the result was again pretty similar. I couldn't find it. So then I got more and more central, and I ended with this Yenikapı, which is like important port, I think, for important ferry connection for intercity travel. And even there I couldn't succeed, so this is why in the end I had to go this little bit ridiculous way. Well, so it was good to be there. I think I'm not gonna finish this report maybe because now I feel I don't know how much I'm mumbling. I think I'm saying some useful information, but maybe it's longer than necessary. So let's finish at some point meaningful. Okay, so let's make this as a mental note for myself that I've described the reasoning for the trip and its first phase from Kadıköy to Yenikapı station, and the next I will discuss the walking at the seaside and big empty Yenikapı park. End of part 1. Istanbul Urban Research. Today is 27th of November 2020. Second part of the report of my walk to Bakırköy on 21st of November. Last time we ended in Yenikapı station. I think I didn't mention yet that the station has a dolphin. That's not the most important maybe, but now I'm just looking at the pictures and I see yes, I see the dolphin. Well, last time I was reporting before going to sleep. Now I'm trying to report because that was my aim, but I just read an email absolutely unrelated to this topic that got me really quite emotional. But I want to still progress, and maybe this is also a way how to just get out of the lingering in certain emotional state through doing something positive or useful. And I believe that this project in a whole and this report as part of this research is useful. So let me continue now after I shared my current state. Well, yes, there is a dolphin, but it's a sculpture in the middle of pool, which is empty. There should be some water, but there is not, maybe because it's autumn, and it looks rather no, well, it's not in a very good condition. The pool, it's totally unimportant, this pool. So the building of the Ido is relatively big. Oh, now I realize maybe I already spoke about the whole terminal, and also maybe it's not Ido terminal. The Ido is the company. It is Ido. Okay, I see it on the picture. But no, I think I spoke about it a little bit. So let's continue. The walk. I visited the big park, very flat park with small trees planted in a grid pattern, so it feels very unnaturally, this park. Also, the entrance to it is limited through a very narrow, small doors in a fence or a door. It's just a frame, basically. So I think, what do I think? That it is guarded. Wow, okay, I'm really a little bit out of place, but maybe that's the point of these diaries, that they can never be objective, and always there is more or less of my emotional state. So yes, it is quite a lovely walk in this whatever park at Yenikapı, with a lot of big boats, which otherwise you don't see in between. I don't know, the center Kadıköy and Eminönü, Karaköy, whatever. Like they are just passing there maybe every now and then, but here you can see them stationary, many of them. It's quite impressive view. And the park, it's well, as I said, it's very boring, very artificial, very flat, but also maybe very refreshing, I would say, because so big and green. Well, I don't know if refreshing is the good word, but it is interesting to see such a wide open emptiness. And yeah, also these doors where you can enter into the park. So on one side where I was approaching on the side from Yenikapı, they're surprisingly small. So the person who is larger maybe cannot even pass through. So that's really like problematic detail. Maybe like a wheelchair user or so disabled people also cannot enter because it's just too small, the entrance. So really stupid in a way. I don't get it. Yeah, why? Well, then if we move fast forward and we pass this park, so this is where the old city walls begin, and they continue alongside both the seaside and the road, the highway, which is following the seaside. And they are quite impressive. I've read it already in Orhan Pamuk's book that the locals are usually approaching them as just part of the everyday environment, but I would say it is really quite fascinating that such a long part of the wall is being preserved in Istanbul. And what else? Well, it's long, and then it turns inside of the city, so I didn't follow the whole attraction. I think at some point I will gladly visit it as just a tourist, but I didn't really expect it, that it is also just on the seaside, so that was a nice addition to this research work. And then also I realized, or I found out, that there is the bike lane, and I already utilized this service beforehand, so I did it again, and I purchased a ride on a blue bicycle. I forgot, because now it's really last few days it's so sunny that this sunny weather is so exceptional, because again it's the end of November. It's really like during the daytime it's sometimes almost hot or like really warm and very sunny for last few days, but all the previous month more or less was like really gray and rainy. So this day again it was really rather quite depressive, little bit with rain. So even this bike ride, okay, nice, but half raining in this like very atmospheric weather. Okay, well, and then I see I didn't make many pictures when on bicycle, which makes sense, but now I see how important it is to make photos, because I don't remember that much then from this ride, and also how important it is to make these audio diaries, I hope, or make them ideally immediately. That's also very important because otherwise you forget so quickly. I forget so quickly. Well, but what I remember and what I also capture a little bit is that then it's from some point on, this, at least the seaside area, starts to be a little bit unclear, like what is it about, because somewhere there is nothing much going on. It's just empty ground with some rocks and random grass waiting to be maybe used somehow. And indeed, just next to it there are growing new skyscrapers, some of them hotels, obviously, with hotel signs, in different stages of construction. Some apparently quite newly constructed, some other ones like with the skeleton and being somewhere half the way done. So this might turn as really luxury apartments or hotels or whatever, I guess. But now it's somewhere in between. It's not very well defined, this whole space, and also you can ride a bike, and there is this like super small tiny green strip between the road and the seashore. But the whole area, if you consider it as a recreational area next to this highway with the skyscrapers, well, I mean, it's not like super highway, but it's quite busy. So it's not really the best or the most well-designed piece of urban planning. Yes, and I took bicycle because I expected to walk for like 10 kilometers or something. It was a little bit raining, so it was nice. I didn't drive very fast. I was, in that sense, I was kind of enjoying myself and trying to find out or look around what I can see. But I think that was a nice opportunity to use this, what city provided me with, the bicycles. Yes, I also passed now, I see, through the Zeytinburnu neighborhood and through the commercial port, Zeyport. That's maybe the name of the company, probably, which operates there in Zeytinburnu port. I see it on the picture. Well, not much to say about this. I didn't went inside. I was with the bicycle and just I took some pictures from distance. So that there is also apparently a commercial or cargo port of Zeytinburnu. Then finally I arrived to Bakırköy port. I had some issues with returning the bike, but somehow I managed anyway. And Bakırköy is, in my opinion, much nicer than Yenikapı terminal, because it really has this feeling a little bit like, I don't know, Kadıköy or Karaköy, in a way that I don't know how to describe it. It's really on a human scale or on the city transportation scale. You don't expect there are really big ships. It's more like everyday use, with Tur Oil and other terminal. I guess that would be, yeah, Ido and Tur Oil, two nice terminals. Well, Turiols is not that nice, but Ido, it's really like with this stone whatever sign and like golden sign on wannabe wooden, or wannabe golden sign on wannabe wooden something board. And I make like pictures also of where it goes. So I see here Bakırköy, Kadıköy, Bostancı, for example, or another line goes to Adalar Islands. There should be direct connection Bakırköy to Eminönü. So pretty much everywhere in the center of the city, but it closed due to the coronavirus, to my understanding. And for example, Ido from 21st March already. Yeah, there is this sign which explains it exactly. I should still translate it. I still didn't do it. So that's a good reminder. So I would know exactly. Önemli duyuru. Koronavirüs tedbirleri çerçevesinde 21 Mart 2020 Cumartesi tarihinden and so on and so on. Bakırköy, Bostancı ve Beşiktaş, Bostancı. Interrupted because of coronavirus, I guess. Okay, I had there what I think my favorite cheese with toast. That's irony. It's not my favorite. But if I'm outside and if there is a buffet and I want to eat something, 90% of cases I'm getting toast with cheese, which in Istanbul is like really 2 pieces of bread and cheese, nothing else, never. It's always just really this very dry, boring, not very tasty piece of, let's call it food, for the lack of better words. And then there is like 10 other things, sausages and toasts with this and that, but everything is meat based or with meat or whatever. And then they don't understand me, so then they always say, oh, maybe you wanna, I mean in Turkish, but I translated it like, oh, you wanna maybe a toast with a cheese, huh? Well, that's great, we have it, that's exactly for you, the toast with the cheese, you'll enjoy it. I never enjoyed really, but I guess better than no toast at all. So yeah, and then I worked a little bit more. There was this Marina Bay, lot of ships, and I worked inside of Bakırköy neighborhood to still see a little bit around what's going on. For some reason, maybe because the weather got better, I don't know, but I really like Bakırköy. It had a somehow nice feeling, nice, like quiet, peaceful. The architecture, nothing like very extraordinary, just like normal, not too, like, even Kadıköy, sometimes it feels like so cool, so like tourist, fancy, hipster, I don't know. This was just like random small neighborhood, not super central, but almost central, definitely not peripheral. I mean, if you consider there goes regular Kadıköy, Bakırköy ferry or Eminönü Bakırköy, so it's still like, I would say, quite well connected, and there is metro and Marmara and everything. So that was nice realization that, like, from that point on, I would already like expect something like horrible, or scary even. But Bakırköy I liked. And then I ended this exploration in station Bahçelievler. So my understanding is that there is a highway, and it's just a guess, but I think it might be like this, because I was all the time in Bakırköy, and okay, there is a highway, and after this highway there will be this other neighborhood of Bahçelievler, and this was really nice expression of the, let's say, European part of Istanbul. Or maybe not just European, but really busy highway, a lot of block houses building around, and like the buses coming. I have a video that's really impressive. The bus is going every like 30 seconds or so, and then another bus and another 2 buses, and then they have the same numbers, but like the frequency of bus is like 1 per minute of the same bus, or I don't know, not exactly like this, but it was like really, really fast, like 1 bus, 2 bus, so that to wait there, and in 1 minute that there would be not a single bus coming, never, like there is always at least 1 or 2 or 3 during this 1 minute, of course on both sides, so it's even more crazy. And then this is in the middle, this strip, so it's like BRT, bus rapid transport, and on sides you see like there is another 6 lanes, 6 and 6 more or less, or 5 and 5. So you have like 12 in the end, 12 lanes of cars and buses, and madness, and people passing over this like shaking bridge. Well, yeah, that was not at all as cute as Bakırköy. Like, I wouldn't like it if I would live there, or maybe I would like it with this like perverse dystopian enjoyment, but otherwise this was like total dystopian megapolis classic. And this was the end. Then I went back with the metro. Yeah, maybe one small detail, this was this like line 1 metro, the red line, and instead of going like straight just west to east, it goes west to north, east, or what? Yeah, northeast, and then southeast again. So it makes like a shape. It goes up and down, and it's the line 1. So I don't want to go much into it. Also, I don't understand it really, but what I know about it is that it's because there is the bus station, the main bus station, Esenler, is there in the tip of the roof. Yes, I just don't understand why this station is actually there. It's I don't know, does it make sense? It's not very central. I mean, it's kind of, but not really. So what's the point? But that's another topic. Well, so that was decently confusing, I hope, report of the second part of this work. And now I finish. The end.